Hello, gorgeous people, and welcome to another TV Central one-on-one podcast. I'm Aaron Ryan. This is episode 26, 2023, and the 15th of the Australian Survivor elimination episodes, although this is the 18th elimination overall. He stayed in the competition longer than the other survivors expected. He stayed in longer than maybe he even expected. I think he is the most misunderstood player in the game. Simon Mee is the 18th person eliminated from Australian Survivor. Simon, thank you for joining me at TV Central.
Wow, yeah, it's great to be here. What a loaded introduction. But I went out there to play and get my hands dirty, and I think I did just that. I wanted to leave a mark on this game, but I tell you what, I left a mark that I did not expect, and what a roller coaster, hey?
Yeah, we'll talk about all of that. But first of all, on behalf of the women of Australia and all the gay guys, thank you. The Speedos and chess for 21 episodes was a massive highlight. How many comments do you get on your body?
Oh, look, I think I know my audience of the gay population have been very, very supportive of me, and I've planted a few Easter eggs in there. Like, I know what was coming out of my mouth at the time. That was been a lot of fun. And look, yeah, between that demographic and women between 50 and 64, I've got my niche carved out. So it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, everyone has been really, really supportive on the way through. And I think they see this as just a little bit more than the smile and Speedo. So that's been really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I must say, I examined the body for purely educational purposes and
It was
research
very
for this
it's
podcast.
just strategy, right? That was the strategy.
Yeah. So am I right that you really tightened up without the food? I mean, you were pretty sort of bulky in the first few episodes with the pecs, but by day 42 you're still great, but you were, I guess, tightened or leaned up. Would that be right?
Yeah, it was. Look, obviously we only have beans and rice, and then like outside of that, you've got coconut. So I I lost in 25 days in the outback. I lost 6 kilos in 42 days out there. I only lost 3 kilos this time.
Oh, wow.
So that was huge. But like the difference for me was coconut. Coconut's got like 1,200 calories in them, and look, it gives you the runs. It's not pleasant, but you get the energy into your system. So it meant that I at least had a full belly. Like, look, I'm not satisfied, but I had some kind of energy to be able to have a clear brain, to be able to make some decisions. Not that that helped me because they were all pretty crappy decisions, but like it was enough to be able to get me through. And like I felt strong. I felt fresh. And you don't have sugar and crap in your system that makes you that brings you down, so you're fueled in a very efficient way, and it allowed me to perform in challenges and feel great and unstoppable out there, which was awesome.
Mm. All right, let's go to the misunderstood comment that I made at the start. Like,
Yeah.
here are my examples. Now, first of all, you were completely loyal, and you had a big bromance with Jordiethe. He stabbed you in the back. I don't see you did anything wrong to deserve that. Were you really cut up by that?
Yeah, it was pretty hard, like watching all that back and seeing that. I really enjoyed my time out there with Geordie, and I thought that he enjoyed his time out there with me. But I think from what I've heard, he didn't so much. And yeah, like it's always hard. I think that like what happens in the game happens in the game, and I will never hold anything against anyone for that, because it is a simulation and it is cutthroat, and you're expected to do that. But I think it says more, it speaks more about volumes of how you treat people outside of the game, and that's how I will always choose to judge people. But yeah, it was really hard at the time to see that and not to have the level of friendship that I thought we had there. Yeah, it was tough.
All right, example number two, the fake idol. Now, you got what you thought was a real idol. Then you were asked to give it up, and you did that to help save someone else. You did everything that was asked. Then people turned on you because they think that you played them. Now I'm still guessing you genuinely thought that you had a real idol. How did you feel when you found out that it was a fake idol?
Oh, my whole world came crashing down in front of me. It was really hard to swallow and to see, because I thought that was setting me up in the game. I thought that had bought me so many friends, and that was like such a big display of trust to win over all the heroes. And then to see it slipped through my fingertips, like it was just soul destroying because that was my avenue. And then after that, it's like I've burnt all the villains have turned on me. None of them want to work with me. All the heroes I've now burnt trust with. So I have no one in this game. And it was really hard to watch that all go down and to come into the second half of the game with nothing and try to move forward from there.
Yeah, aside from gunning for your rival George, which was apparent, you're one of the kindest people on the show, never nasty in any way. So for all of those reasons that I've given, I think you were misunderstood. Why did so many people have an issue with you? Why were you writing people the wrong way? Because I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I think that like I I come in with a very unique, well, not unique, but I come in with like my own set of cards, and everyone has a set of cards in their hand that they have to play from. Like I came in as like one of very like Jordy and I were only two kind of alpha males in that tribe, and I was thrust into that leadership role again, which I can't help but like be thrown into that position. You kind of have to deal with it from there. And like it's difficult, but my mantra has always been to lift people up and to make sure everyone is included. And I tried to do that as much as possible. And even with people that I wasn't necessarily voting with or voting for, I try to make sure that I could at least bring some positivity and encouragement to everyone's game, to remind people that this is an experience that needs to be enjoyed, and a game we need to make the most of, like right now. And it was really hard seeing so much of that left out of the edit at the start. I
Yeah.
felt like I wasn't really humanized so much. And after every challenge, like my voice, my lungs had run out of gas, because I'm always like cheering and lifting people up, encouraging not just the villains, but like even both sides. When there's a good effort out there, like I love the challenges. I love seeing people overcome adversity and succeed when they didn't expect to. And that's some of my highlights in the game of Survivor. So seeing that and encouraging that was huge, but then not seeing that watched back was really hard to get my head around. So it was kind of like disappointing there. But on a long enough period of time, I feel like the real me was always going to come through, which was really nice to see. I'm glad
Yeah.
we got there in the end.
You did. Australia love you. Look, if George was gone, the chances of others winning becomes more of a level playing field. Why couldn't you pull off that Nina, George, Simon, Matt takedown of George? That's 4 votes,
Oh,
guaranteed that he's out.
look, my whole mantra the whole way through the game. George is such a big personality and such a huge, like, just a huge presence around camp. And like, you take him out of the game, it would always blow everything right open. He was the glue that held so many things together that was against me. And without him, it would have made the biggest difference and changed so many different things at so many different points in the game. So like it was worth focusing on that to try to get rid of him. And look, over the last 48 hours in the game, they were never moving. Like they were always like I'm even surprised that Jerry had even like vocalized like maybe thinking about it, but he was always running back to George. And that's so evident by the way that Nina and I both voted for each other. Like, that was it was never not happening. So yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of bringing that one together to put a bit of I put some questions out to the universe, because it was yeah, it was a done deal. Like I was a goner. I knew I was a goner. I was a goner the night before when Nina got saved in the non-elimination. Like I was just, yeah, I managed to like scrape through that one. So it's just unlucky, I guess.
You made the pitch about the porn thing, and Jerry countered with the coach mentor example. I think you could have pushed your point even further, because the reality is that he has promised Matt, Jerry, Nina, and Liz all spots to the end. I mean, that's obviously impossible. These guys are just pawns. Could you not have like pushed that line that he'd made promises? And the one to Jerry is exactly the same one that was made to Liz, and then Nina, and then Matt, and then
I
before that
know.
Shawnee, and then
I know.
Haley.
Yep.
He's going to have to let down someone next at tribal council. How are all these people not seeing this?
Mate, I really don't know. And that's why it has to give credit to George, but he managed to, he left Liz out of a vote, he left Jerry out of a vote, he left Matt out of a vote, or he's blindsided them all, and they've all gone running back to him. Like it was just so frustrating to see it happen. And yeah, that conversation with Jerry, like at tribal council, like I think I even missed the mark a little bit, right? Like, it's amazing to have a coach and someone to give you guidance, but some of the best players and player coach relationships, you take the advice, you take the guidance, but you make your own game of it.
Mm.
You take that and turn it into something yourself. You just don't follow along with what else someone is like telling you to do. And look, I will never know the inner workings of what was going on there, but seeing the way that George's uses language to be in people's ears to make them think about what's going on, but then he still gets his way every time. I tried to make them aware of it. I tried to let them know. And you know what? Like, that's the real question will be from now. Can anyone stand on their own 2 feet outside of George and have enough of a narrative to, take home $500,000 and the title of Sole Survivor or not? And that will be the interesting question that we will find out at the end, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, another interesting question. Can we play a game of that you make it to the final tribal council?
Oh,
What would have been your speech knowing that George,
mate, I try not to think about it, to be honest. It's like, you know, I think back and I think about what my narrative and the adversities that I'd overcome. I actually don't think I was even going to talk about the challenges. Like, it's not like it's a kind of cool part of it and help me kind of get through, but you have to know your audience. And it was really going to be around, I've played with some of the best players and the people sitting on the jury, and played some like amazing games, and here I stand being able to outlast all of you. And look, I really don't like going into it in too much detail, but because it would have had to, like, it hurts me thinking about it. But it was going to be like Christy Bennett style 2016, where you just have to go for it, but owning it all, doing it with humility, respecting the people that were on the jury, and the fact that I was still there, and they had a lot of appreciation for the fact that I was, I never gave up. I still gave it all, and I fumbled my way through it, and just owning that is a really important part of it. Like, knowing that I didn't play a great strategic game at all, but I put myself in a position that was able to get me through, duck when I needed to duck, and weave when I needed to weave, and yeah, there was definitely a narrative there, which is pretty exciting. Really sad at the same time that I wasn't there to actually do it, but God, it would have been good.
Well, taking you out of it, then, like, how do whoever makes it to the tribal council, and let's just assume that George is there, how do people make their pitches, like, just in general against George? I mean,
So,
what can you
assuming George is or isn't there,
is there?
is there,
So
then
how do these people make a pitch, knowing that George is there?
they just need to differentiate themselves from George. Simple as that. Like, how does your game stand on your own 2 feet, opposite to what George has done, or because George is gonna, like, if he gets there, he can get up there and he doesn't even need to talk about what he's done in terms of like the moves. Like, I've seen it, like I was part of it. I saw it all happen in front of my eyes, like time and time and time again. Like, it literally would not have even needed to touch on it. It would have been more about like, why does George need to, I don't know, how's he managed the jury? Like, how's that been a thing for him? So like, more about like his social game, I think. So yeah, there'll be the real differentiation between like George and whoever's going up against him. Like, how does your game stand on your own 2 feet without him dictating what manipulating and moving you to where he wanted you?
Yeah. Well, everyone seems to have a sliding doors moment in the series, like it just this one little thing or one vote had gone that way or something like that, especially with Sam. Yours seems to be that last domino challenge. You like needed like 10 seconds more.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah. Look, my sliding door moment was the winning that immunity, like I think fire challenge, like all the way back on
yeah.
day like 15, 16. Like, that's when my game should have ended there. And then the cookie idol was another sliding door moment. But look, that was really unlucky, that last challenge. I was, yeah, I was pretty ahead. I had all my blocks up, and then as I was going back twice, it happened that like 2 blocks in the same spot fell off a couple of times, and like just the track where it was, just was not smooth. Like there was just, it wasn't a completely smooth track there. So the dominoes were like already like in a bad spot. And that's just like the luck of the draw. You draw for spots and I ended up there. And yeah, that was just kind of stitched me up. And there's nothing you can do about that. It's just kind of like my luck had run out. I had well and truly overstayed my welcome. And that was the end of the line for me.
Well, the show will definitely not be the same without you. You were a great player, super at challenges, and you got through a lot, despite a lot of adversity against you. And in my opinion, as I said, totally misunderstood. We will see you on the jury.
Yeah.
But woohoo! Thank you for joining me at TV Central.
Aaron, mate, thank you very much for having me. It's been such a blast to be a part of an incredible season.
Definitely an incredible season for sure. Simon Mee, 18th eliminated from Australian Survivor. 7:30 Sunday and Monday on 10 and 10 play, down to 2 eps a week now, and just 3 episodes remaining until we find out if George will be the sole survivor, because that seems to be what it's all about now. TV Central will be talking to almost every eliminated contestant. There'll be a podcast available around lunchtime the day after an elimination. That's it for this podcast. For all the latest news, podcasts, streaming guides, and info, head to tvcentral.com.au. Until next time, I'm Aaron Ryan. Thanks to Simon Mee. Bye for now.